All right, so get ready for a deep dive, you guys, into the world of some really wild comedy.
Yeah.
We're talking Sam Hyde and $1 Million Extreme.
Mm-hmm.
This is a group that went from posting on YouTube to getting a show on Adult Swim to facing serious backlash.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah, and we've got a collection of YouTube videos and transcripts to get through today.
A lot of material to cover.
So let's just jump right in.
Yeah, let's get into it.
What's so fascinating about this story to me is it really goes beyond just like one comedian's career.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really about pushing those boundaries of what's acceptable humor and how that can affect how online outrage can affect things, and how these comedic styles can influence an entire generation of creators.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when you look at Sam Hyde's background, he didn't really follow that like typical comedian's path, you know?
Totally. Okay.
Like this guy, he was born in 1985, went to some pretty prestigious art schools.
Yo.
A Rhode Island School of Design.
Same school Seth MacFarlane went to. Pretty crazy.
You know, and speaking of art school, we actually have an interview from one of his professors from back in the day.
Oh, wow.
A guy named Elliot. He was teaching a graduate program in experimental graphic design, and he was just baffled by Sam's application.
Really?
It was filled with these, like, aggressive YouTube videos.
No way.
Yeah, not your typical art student portfolio.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, like, even in those early videos, did you see, like, hints of the humor that would become $1 Million Extreme?
Absolutely. Like, you can totally see that mix of shock humor, surrealism, that kind of guerrilla filmmaking style. Like,
Yeah.
He was really tapping into internet culture, but in a way that was totally unique, even back then.
Yeah.
Pushing buttons.
So let's talk about $1 Million Extreme forming.
Okay.
So around 2009, Sam teams up with Nick Rochefort and Charles Carroll.
Yeah.
How would you describe their comedic style? It's kind of hard to put into words.
It really is. It's this mix of shock humor, anti-comedy, absurdist sensibility.
Right.
Like, they weren't afraid to create these over-the-top characters and situations.
Yeah.
They were both hilarious, but incredibly unsettling.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's like they were taking the weirdest corners of the internet and turning it into comedy gold.
Exactly.
They weren't afraid to get weird.
Oh, absolutely not.
I mean, who could forget the cheesy baked potato guy?
Oh, my God.
This character who's obsessed with cheesy baked potatoes and getting fat, and it's just pure nonsense.
Pure nonsense.
But delivered with such conviction.
Oh, yeah.
There's that one line I always think of.
What is it?
Insert potatoes here. I should get a tattoo that says, insert cheesy baked potatoes here, right here in my face.
Oh, that's so good.
It's so funny.
That's the perfect example of their style, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they take these mundane things like baked potatoes and make them completely absurd and hilarious.
Yeah.
It's not just the content, it's the way they deliver it.
Yeah.
So deadpan, so committed to the bit, you can't help but laugh.
Yeah. It's like they were totally playing with your expectations.
For sure.
You think you're getting like a normal sketch, and then it just goes off the rails.
Just flying off the rails.
In the best way possible.
Yeah, yeah.
Then there's the gamer dude character.
Oh, yeah.
Like your stereotypical energy drink-fueled gamer who's like ready for the zombie apocalypse.
Oh, he's ready.
Zombies? I don't think so. 2 rounds with the pulse rifle.
Yeah.
Shotgun will make it bad news for any zombie.
Yeah, he's locked and loaded.
So good.
Taking those familiar internet tropes and just exaggerating them to the point of absurdity, and it worked.
It's surprising to me that with this, like, totally unconventional style,
I know,
they managed to land a show on Adult Swim.
Yeah.
World
peace.
That's a big deal.
Huge deal, especially considering Adult Swim's reputation for pushing boundaries.
For sure.
It's a testament to their unique vision, you know.
Right.
Adult Swim has always been a home for experimental comedy. But even for them, $1 Million Extreme was a risk.
I could see that.
But I think they saw something special in the group's ability to connect with that younger, internet-savvy audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a pretty stark contrast between their early, like, low-budget YouTube stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the more polished sketches in World Peace.
Right.
Did that change their style at all?
Well, they definitely had more resources and a bigger platform.
Of course.
But the core of their humor stayed the same.
Yeah.
They still embraced the absurdity, the shock value, that meta commentary on internet culture.
Yeah.
If anything, World Peace let them refine their style and reach a wider audience.
Yeah. And it seems like they had some pretty enthusiastic supporters at Adult Swim, too.
Oh, yeah. Mike Lasso, the executive producer, was initially a huge fan of the show.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he was so impressed that he apparently promised them like 100 more episodes after the pilot.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's a big vote of confidence.
It's huge.
Crazy to think how things would change.
I know. Wild.
But before we get into all that, we got to talk about the TEDx infiltration.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. The infamous 2070 paradigm shift talk.
It's crazy.
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting. So, 2013, Sam somehow snags a speaking slot at a TEDx event.
Wow.
Shows up in full gold armor.
Oh, my God.
Delivers this completely nonsensical, satirical presentation.
I've seen clips of that.
Oh, it's amazing.
Unbelievable. It's performance art meets stand-up comedy.
Did he actually trick the organizers with that whole fake backstory?
He did.
About being a war photographer?
Yeah, the war photographer who worked with trash cleaning women in Somalia.
It's amazing.
I know, it's mind-boggling how he pulled it off.
Yeah.
But it raises some questions about the vetting process for these events.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, they're so eager to find that next big thing.
Oh, right.
Next groundbreaking speaker.
Yeah.
They can be vulnerable to pranks like this.
Like, he exposed the absurdity of these events.
Exactly.
Almost like performance art itself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Sounds awesome.
And the content of the talk itself is just as wild.
Really?
Makes these outlandish predictions about the future. And there's this one line that's particularly shocking. He says,
What does he say?
we're going to be taking care of the elderly and mentally disabled because we're just going to kill them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Crossing the line a bit.
Yeah, it is. It's important to remember that this was satire.
Sure.
Incredibly dark satire at that.
Yeah.
But it sparked a debate about what is acceptable, even in comedy.
Totally.
How far is too far?
Right.
And when does satire become offensive or even dangerous?
Yeah, those are some big questions.
Yeah.
And I think they're at the heart of what makes Sam Hyde and $1 Million Extreme so fascinating.
Totally.
And for some, so controversial.
Yeah.
I mean, this TEDx stunt was just a taste of the chaos to come.
Just taste.
That's a good way to put it.
Just the beginning. The controversy surrounding their work was about to reach a whole new level.
Yeah, a whole new level for sure.
So much chaos surrounding this group. Yeah.
You know, I can imagine that not everybody loved their brand of humor.
Oh, yeah.
But was there like a specific event that kind of marked the beginning of their downfall?
Well, there are a few moments that really stand out. One was this article on BuzzFeed by Joe Bernstein, where he labels $1 Million Extreme as like alt-right.
Oh, wow.
And claims that they have a following of neo-Nazis.
So that's pretty serious.
Yeah, pretty serious accusation.
What was the reaction like to that article?
It was pretty explosive.
Really?
Whether you agree with it or not, it really set off this chain reaction.
Yeah.
Suddenly, $1 Million Extreme was being scrutinized by mainstream media.
Wow.
And the backlash was intense.
Yeah, it's crazy how like one article can have such a huge impact.
Yeah.
Especially in the age of social media.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the article itself.
Right.
Bernstein and others who shared his views were really good at using social media to amplify their message.
I see.
They specifically targeted executives at Adult Swim and Turner.
Okay, which is Adult Swim's parent company.
So even though they had support from inside Adult Swim, they were kind of brought down by that external pressure.
Exactly. It was a classic case of like a vocal minority wielding a lot of power online.
Yeah.
And it's important to note that Sam Hyde has denied those accusations.
Okay.
That he's promoting this neo-Nazi ideology.
Right.
He maintains that his work is satire.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be provocative, not hateful.
So this whole thing's pretty messy.
Oh, it's a mess.
Who else played a key role in the downfall of world peace?
Well, there were a few other people who were very vocal.
Okay.
One of the most prominent was comedian Brett Gelman.
Oh, yeah. Brett Gelman. He was actually on Adult Swim at the time.
He was.
Yeah.
And he publicly condemned world peace, even calling it a neo-Nazi show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Strong statement.
Yeah, he actually left Adult Swim.
Really?
And he cited the network's continued support of $1 Million Extreme
Wow.
as one of the reasons for his departure. So that put even more pressure on Adult Swim to take action.
Exactly. It really highlighted the divisions within the comedy community.
For sure.
You had some people who thought $1 Million Extreme was dangerous and offensive.
Right.
While others defended their right to free speech and artistic expression.
Yeah, it's really interesting how this whole thing just kind of caused this really complex debate about the limits of comedy.
Totally, totally.
And it wasn't just Gelman who spoke out against them.
No, not at all.
There was another comedian who played a really interesting role in this whole saga.
Yeah.
Tim Heidecker.
Heidecker.
He had a history with Million Dollar Extreme, even joked about working with Sam on something.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was initially supportive of their work.
It seemed that way, at least.
Okay.
But then things took a turn when Heidecker started encouraging his fans to boycott the advertisers of world peace.
That's a big change.
It is. What prompted that change of heart?
Yeah.
We don't really know for sure.
Okay.
There is a theory out there that a personal experience.
Okay. Where he was involved in like a violent encounter with a Hispanic attacker.
Oh, wow.
Might have shifted his worldview and influenced his actions.
So there might be a personal element to all this, too.
Potentially.
But for Sam Hyde, this must have felt like a huge betrayal.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hyde saw Heidecker's actions as really cowardly and opportunistic.
Yeah.
Especially given their past interactions.
Right.
He felt like Heidecker turned on him for personal gain.
Wow.
Using the controversy to boost his own profile.
So we have this whole mix of factors at play.
Yeah.
You know, accusations of promoting these ideologies and this online campaign targeting the network, condemnation from other comedians, and this personal betrayal, too.
Yeah. It's no wonder World Peace was canceled.
Yeah.
It's a case study in how quickly things can unravel online.
Yeah.
1 minute you're on top, the next you're facing this wave of backlash.
Right.
That can be really hard to overcome.
It's a fascinating story, but it's also a cautionary tale.
It makes you think about the power of online outrage and the challenges of navigating this media landscape.
Totally.
Where everything you do can be like amplified and dissected on a global scale.
It raises a question that I think we should explore in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
What happens when a comedian pushes the boundaries too far?
Yeah.
Can they come back from that?
Right.
What does it say about our relationship with humor and satire and the role of comedy in society?
Huh?
Yeah, it's a lot to think about.
Yeah, so World Peace gets canceled. Million Dollar Extreme are basically blacklisted.
Right.
But Sam Hyde doesn't go away.
No, not at all.
Kind of thrives on this chaos.
Or
right?
say that.
And speaking of chaos, we got to talk about the "he can't keep getting away with it" meme.
Oh, yeah.
That really cemented his image as this internet trickster.
That meme is so fascinating. It really took on a life of its own.
It really did.
And remember, it came from a misattributed news interview.
Right.
About a shooting.
I forgot that.
Yeah, it's like the perfect example of the internet taking something out of context.
Totally.
And turning it into this viral phenomenon.
For Sam Hyde, it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Like every time he did something outrageous, the meme would come back.
Totally.
Just adding to that whole mystique.
He became the symbol of internet absurdity. Like anything can happen online.
Yeah, and he's never been one to like shy away from confrontation. Like his ongoing feud with Idubbbz.
Oh, yeah.
Is a perfect example.
Their back and forth is legendary in the YouTube community.
Oh, my God.
It's just constant insults and diss tracks. And then they even took their rivalry into the world of boxing.
Yeah.
Remember when Sam was banned from participating in Idubbbz's Creator Clash event?
Oh, yeah, of course. And then he ends up training Harley from Epic Mealtime, who goes on to win his fight.
Yeah.
It was such a power move, honestly.
It was brilliant. He found a way to, like, insert himself into the narrative, even when everyone was trying to exclude him.
Yeah. And then there's his own boxing match against I.M. Thompson.
Oh, right.
Which is a whole other level of spectacle.
Wild.
Oh, my God. I was captivated by that fight.
The whole thing felt like performance art.
Yeah.
From, like, the Irish Candyman persona to the in-character call-out of Hassan Piker. It was pure Sam Hyde.
Pure Sam Hyde.
Yeah.
And the fact that he won just adds another layer to the legend. Yeah, it's crazy. But you know what I find really intriguing is the way that Sam Hyde's style of humor has influenced other YouTubers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Even those who might claim to dislike him.
You can definitely see traces of MDE's DNA in the work of people like H3H3 and Idubbbz.
Yeah.
It's like they took that confrontational, boundary-pushing style and ran with it in their own unique ways.
Right. Like think about Ethan Klein from H3H3. His early reaction videos and his tendency to poke fun at absurd internet trends. You can see shades of MDE's parody sketches in those.
Absolutely. And even Idubbbz, who has publicly feuded with Serum,
I know,
shares some similarities in his approach to comedy. His use of shock humor and his Content Cop series where he calls out other YouTubers, it has that same confrontational energy as MDE's work.
Totally. It's like they all tapped into this vein of internet comedy that MDE helped unearth.
Right, this idea that like pushing boundaries, embracing the uncomfortable, even being offensive, could be a way to stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, and it's clearly resonated with a large audience, even if it has sparked its fair share of controversy.
Absolutely. It's a style of comedy that you either love or hate.
Yeah, so where does that leave Sam Hyde today? He's still creating content, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. There are rumors of a World Peace Season 2 in the works.
What?
And he's also involved in this really ambitious video game project called Joyride Universe.
Okay, what is this?
It's like a dystopian sci-fi concept that draws inspiration from films like The Fifth Element and Mad Max.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's supposed to involve like extra-dimensional nebulas of malevolent thought particles known as snow globes that want to create a giant retail megaplex.
Wait, what?
It's hard to tell how much of that is serious and how much is just like Sam Hyde being Sam Hyde.
That sounds wild. I mean, that sounds like something that could only come from his mind.
Right, like who else would come up with that?
And knowing Sam, it'll probably be unlike anything we've ever seen before.
But wait, what about this world peace revival? Are Nick and Charles involved? I know they had a falling out a while back.
Yeah, they did. But from what I understand, Sam and Charles have reconciled.
Which means the original MDE trio is back together.
Wow. So are they going to tone things down? Or are they going to, like, double down on the chaos that made them famous?
It's hard to imagine them toning things down.
Yeah.
But then again, Sam Hyde is full of surprises.
Yeah, you never know what he's going to do.
That's what makes him so fascinating. He's constantly evolving, reinventing himself, keeping everyone on their toes.
He's unpredictable.
Exactly. You never know what he's going to do next, and that's part of his appeal.
I mean, it seems like that unpredictability is like a big part of his success. But it's not just about the shock value.
Right?
Right? Like, there's a real intelligence behind his work.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's hidden beneath, like, layers of absurdity.
Absolutely.
So what do you think makes people come back for more, even when they know it might make them uncomfortable?
I think it's that challenge he presents to the audience.
Yeah.
You know, he's not just trying to make you laugh, he's trying to make you think.
Right.
He wants you to question everything, to see the world in a different way, even if that way is like a bit distorted and unsettling. And I think in a world where everything feels increasingly sanitized and predictable, that kind of raw, unfiltered creativity can be really appealing.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely a product of the internet age.
Yeah.
He understands how to use, like, the tools of digital media to his advantage, whether it's through viral trends or online feuds or just plain shock value.
Right.
But I think it goes deeper than that. It's like he's tapping into something fundamental about human nature.
Yeah.
Our fascination with the absurd, the taboo, the things that make us uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like he's holding up a funhouse mirror to society.
Right.
Showing us this distorted reflection of ourselves and forcing us to confront those parts of ourselves that we might not want to see.
Yeah, and that's what makes him so important,
Mm-hmm.
even if you don't always agree with his methods.
Exactly.
It's like he's pushing the boundaries of comedy, forcing us to re-examine our own assumptions about what is and isn't funny.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing it all on his own terms, without compromise.
Yeah, totally.
So where does that leave us? I mean, what's the takeaway from all of this?
I think the takeaway is that it's not about liking or disliking Sam Hyde's comedy. It's about recognizing its significance.
Right.
He's a force to be reckoned with, a true original who has left an undeniable mark on internet culture. And his influence can be seen in the work of countless other creators, whether they admit it or not.
So what do you think the future holds for Sam Hyde? I mean, will he continue to push boundaries, or will he eventually settle down and become part of the establishment he spent his career mocking?
I mean, only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, Sam Hyde will always keep us guessing.
Yeah.
He's a master of reinvention, constantly evolving and keeping everyone on their toes. And that's what makes him so exciting.
Yeah, I think you've given us a lot to think about today.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a wild ride through the world of Sam Hyde and $1 Million Extreme.
Absolutely.
The world that's not for everyone.
Right.
But it's a world that's definitely worth exploring.
For sure.
All right, so that is it for this deep dive, folks.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into the bizarre and brilliant world of Sam Hyde.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep laughing, even if it's a little uncomfortable.